I'd like to call to order the meeting of April 16, 2019. Would you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, flag, and your invocation?
Lord, we acknowledge your presence among us tonight, and we pray for your guidance during this meeting. Give us the wisdom to work in the best interest of everyone in our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here. 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 Here.
Lakeman?
Here.
Willard?
Here.
Hudson?
You'll receive the meeting minutes from April 2nd. Any comments or questions on those? If not, they'll stand as presented. We received a letter from Rebecca Barker, Assistant Board Director for CYBL, requesting permission to hold a tag day on May 11th in the city of Columbiana, and that will be under new business. We received Planning Commission meeting minutes of April 9th, as well as Firestone Park Recreation and Cemetery Board meeting minutes of March 25th. Any comments or questions on those? We will move right into having Kathy Kagi Brown from Columbiana Destination Imagination here to discuss holding a color fun run in the city of Columbiana on May 18th.
Is it okay if I give you each a packet?
Sure.
To take a look at?
Are you going to throw stuff at us?
No! Not this time.
Thank you.
Here you go, if you want to take it and pass it.
My makeup run.
Okay, so my name is Kathy Kagi Brown, and I am here on behalf of Columbiana Schools Destination Imagination Program. 3 of our teams, one is a middle school team, one is a middle school and high school combined team, and one is a high school team, have made it to the Global Finals, which is in Kansas City, Missouri next month. The Global Finals is just that. They're competing against people from all over the world. So my daughter's team made it, not last year, but the year prior, and they met an entire team from China, and the team from China made infinity knots with them and taught them how to make infinity knots. So it's a really cool, cultural, interactive event. It is very expensive though. The registration fee is $5,500. So we're trying quickly to raise money before May 23rd, pardon me, so that we can help defray the cost for the registration for the students. Adults are going, but any money that we raise through fundraising will only go through the students' registration fees. So one of the ideas we came up with is a color run. Kelly Chafee suggested that we do this. Her son Zach is a high school kiddo, and he's all excited about it and has told his friends and all. He's already recruited people for a race that has not yet been approved, so I'm hoping that this goes well. So it's a color run. It is in the park. I have spoken to Ron Detweiler on Park Board. I've spoken to Terry Schaefer. We have a shelter reserved and being held for us if this is approved. I've spoken to Chief Gladys in terms of, do we need to have coverage? We feel that we don't. I actually just bought some bright yellow vests for our people so that they can stand where the turns are for the race. And I'll have them for heroes and heroes as well. So, let me see, who else did I speak to? Oh, you guys are the last on my list. I think that's it, right? Did I miss anybody? Oh, EMS. I did talk to EMS. I left a message for Tom with EMS, and just waiting for him to get back to me about having them on site. But it is contained to the park. We will start at Pavilion number 4. There's a speed bump right there by Funland. That's our starting point. We'll go up and around, and forgive me, I'm not great at the pavilion numbers, but I think it's Pavilion number 4 then, that newer one with the new playground. And then we'll just loop quickly back to that upper road that goes by the memorial, then to the pool, then down and up on East Park, but only on the sidewalk, so no crossing of major roads. Then we come back to the park and finish at the same exact spot where we start. So it's just over 1 mile. It's a fun run. We're encouraging families and kids to do this. It's not for, you know, like marathon runners. I mean, it is, but this isn't an event that's timed. It's not an event where you get medals. But the fun part about this is the color run. There is color. There are going to be 8 color stations throughout the park where our volunteers will splatter you with color, and it's like a chalk. It's eco-friendly, it's biodegradable, cornstarch, food approved, FDA approved coloring, and it washes away with the first rain. So everybody will get a white t-shirt, and by the end of the t-shirt they'll be covered in color. Red, blue, and green, and orange, and yellow. So it's a very fun, friendly family event. And everybody gets sunglasses to protect their eyes, because we want to, of course, make sure that everybody's safe in that sense. So I just told you, the schedule is on there: 9 o'clock setup, 10 o'clock on-site registration, 11 o'clock color run, 12 o'clock tear down. And then I told you a little bit about Destination Imagination, and I included the flyer, the draft flyer. So if you approve, we'll go ahead and go live with sharing this information on Facebook and the sign up on the website, and we'll move forward with it. Is there any questions?
How much would it be to participate?
20 per person. And that includes a t-shirt, sunglasses, and 1 color packet.
Okay. So you can throw stuff at other roads.
Right, right, because you don't want to just get
We should
splattered.
all do it.
You should do it. I will comp your entries. We could have a celebrity color splash at the end where everybody just splashes you guys.
That'll get a lot of people
I'll do it
coming
for
in.
like $1,000 bucks.
We need to make sure that there's rain the next day.
I know.
We're gonna be colored like that forever.
You got it, you got it. It'll be fun though. It's Saturday, so you'll have time. You'll go to church very
We'll
soon.
come here late, that's all.
I think you might want to check your pavilion numbers, because they,
I have it wrong.
Number 1's the new one.
What I want is the
This is
pavilion
shelter.
by the football field. Is that 4?
no,
You're
those,
talking shelter or pavilion?
Done one by the lake.
Shelter.
Shelter.
It is a shelter.
oh, the shelter,
Shelter.
yeah, okay, I got you,
It's
yeah.
shelter number 4 by the football field. Is that correct?
Ron, do you?
I think so.
Okay.
That's what Terry told me today, but I'm horrible at those numbers. I
Okay.
I should know it by
It's
now.
odd the way they have the number.
Yep. We
Pavilion
wanted
four
the-
is by, pavilion 4 is by the lake, shelter 4 is by the football field.
Shelter
Yeah.
4 is what we want.
I
Because
would
it's
agree.
right by that speed bump.
Okay.
So, and I've, you know, we've got that held for me. If we get approved, then I'll go ahead and pay for that, so. Any questions?
No problems, Chief?
No, we, talked to her, and, doesn't sound as though they're gonna cross any streets or create any problems. And, our auxiliary's got about 4 other events that month, so we're glad to let them handle it with their staff. I think it'll work out.
Do you have a rain date, or what do you do?
Rain or shine. You'll get colored and you'll get rained on if it rains.
Or swamp.
Right, it's like, it's free, right? If it rains, we did say rain or shine. Now, if it's a thunderstorm, we will have to cancel, but if it's just rain, we'll still have the event.
We have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? I'm serious, you get $1,000 donation, I'll show up and they can all throw separate.
That sounds great. Actually, I don't know if that would be safe for you, though. You might need like hockey gear.
It's for a good cause.
Right.
Now we
Throw a chicken at him.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
Really?
All right, we have a motion, roll call.
Becker?
Yes.
Bowden?
Yes.
McBain?
I work for Destination Imagination at the local school, the regional meetings, and it's a terrific group and event, and the kids who come out of it are just absolutely wonderful, so definitely yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes.
You could, it is,
They could be all different colors by the time they get home.
it's pet friendly, yeah, everybody's welcome, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Next up is Pat Tingle, here to discuss an update on Firestone Park.
And I can say gentlemen tonight, because it's all gentlemen. And Lance and Brian, thank you for listening. And I want to update you on, and I don't know if I'm going to steal Ron thunder or not by talking about Mirror Lake a little bit, but I hope you're all as excited about what you see going on out there as we are. After all these years of planning, it's happening. It's actually happening, and it looks like it's going to be beautiful. It really does. A lot of the planning's going in. The waterfall is done. I know Lance was out there today working on some of the cement in front of Pavilion 4. All kinds of wonderful things are going on. Keith Pfizer was out, I think, and started looking at Memorial Gardens. So we're really excited about it. And I think maybe for the first time in years, the town believes that we're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay? Until you actually could see something happening. It was a dream, but now it's a reality. So we are set to have a dedication of Mirror Lake on June 22nd. You will receive invitations to come to that. Our project this year, in 2019, is trying to do the sports courts. That's the pickleball courts, the basketball courts, the tennis courts, hopefully some other recreational facilities. The trustees and I we've identified about 50 businesses in town, and we're in the process of going out to those businesses and asking for financial support. Okay. So that was our goal for 2019. And our goal for 2020 is the landscaping of Firestone Park. And I'm here tonight because I want to introduce the company that we've hired. I think a couple meetings ago I gave you a contract that talked about Terra Design Studios in Pittsburgh. And I finally did get around to signing the contract and sending it back to them. And two of their representatives are here tonight to talk about their role in the landscaping of the park. That's our third big project. We do have, we tend to identify a core committee that will meet for 3 days in June 10th, 11th, and 12th, we think at this point. And all those people will have a stake in putting in ideas and talking about what they want for the park. So it's not just what I want or what the trustees of R&D want, it should be what the town wants, okay? Those people are my good friend Ron and I, okay? From the park board, Ron Detweiler and Nancy Turpak, Keith Kaiser, who's been with us since the beginning. Lance has volunteered to be on. Brian, you don't know it, but you're on it too.
I'll be there.
Okay. Skip Liston, we asked you to come because he's been so faithful about coming to our R&B meetings, so we want you to be there. I've added a few people that are meaningful to me, and one is Skip McCullough from Meadowbrook Nursery in Lisbon. He's been my personal landscaper for 20 years. He has great ideas, and I just would like to have him involved. Jay Groner has agreed to join us, and we think that's wonderful because he has such a rich history of the park, you know. I am adding one family member, and only one. I have a nephew who lives in Tallahassee, Florida, and he has a degree in turf management and landscaping. And he comes back every once in a while, and he's really excited to see what his aunt is doing, so I'm putting him on the committee. Jim Thies from HRG, our engineering company. Donna Becker will probably be there, and Don Rance, who are from the committee. We probably still need a representative from the high school.
and I haven't gotten that far yet, but I do think we need somebody from the high school there, because they play an important role in how the park is used, so. Tomorrow, I am meeting with, the young man that did the film of Columbiana for Tourism Bureau. We're gonna do a documentary on the landscaping and the restoration of Firestone Park. And it's just in the planning stages, but I figure we're making history. We're doing something that hasn't been done for 80 years. A lot of things are happening out there, and it would be nice to have a historical record of what we're doing. And he's very excited about doing it. He thinks it's a wonderful idea. So the documentary is a recent idea. I think that kind of brings you up to date on what we're doing, but it's my pleasure to introduce the two ladies from Terra Design Studios in Pittsburgh. Just as we drew up a master plan with HRG and Jim Feast for the restoration of the park, we're going to have a master plan for these ladies, Cindy Tyler and Anna Worley, and they're here tonight to talk to you and answer any questions you might have about what our landscaping ideas might be and how they might approach the re-landscaping of Firestone Park. I should remind you too that this one is my memorial for my husband. Okay. So Cindy, if you want to come up. I want her to talk a little bit about where they've done things and the kinds of things they do, and then some ideas she might have about the park, and then it's open to your questions. Okay.
Thank you, Pat. Do I need to talk into that?
You're okay.
We're very happy to be here. We're excited that Pat wanted to introduce us to you, and we've enjoyed every minute of our brief relationship with Turn-On. Starting off with, we are close colleagues with Keith Kaiser, and that is probably how we came to be here tonight. We did the master plan for Colors Riverside Gardens at the North Creek Metro Park almost 15 years ago, and now he's moved to our city as our Pittsburgh Botanic Gardens director, and we continue to work with him in that way. So we have a good relationship there. Our firm is national, but we really enjoy our local work. Colors Riverside Gardens is one of those. The Pittsburgh Botanic I mentioned, we did a little work at the Shaker Heights area in Horseshoe Lake Park, and a nature discovery garden in the Dayton, forgetting the name of the Metro Park, Waverton, does that sound familiar? Anyway. So, we're happy to be part of the team, and Pat asked us to talk a little bit about our process. She mentioned there'll be a committee of stakeholders that will help us generate and kind of gather the ideas we hear. We're very good listeners. We are not a firm that comes in and waves our arms around and says, you must do it this way. We like to hear what you have to say, and we want you to recognize the park when you're done. But I think the role that we can provide is uplifting the landscaping and maybe really diving into the historical way that was originally envisioned. We know, for instance, that your trees are towards the end of their life, or some of them are struggling, so a tree succession plan might be one definite thing we would suggest. Beyond that, I don't know. I've only been here twice, so we're really eager to kind of get into what the park is telling us. She mentioned that we would start in June. The goal is to try to have a concept master plan done by August, September, so that we can be designing the memorial to her husband and raising money for that and begin the construction of that in the spring of 2021. So, are there any questions or anything that I haven't covered, Pat?
One idea I have, you said you need a student from the school, a high school representative maybe?
I'm sorry?
Did you say you need a high school representative? Maybe like the class president of the junior class that will be coming up?
Oh, okay.
And I don't even know who it is, but they're already voted by their peers to represent them, and the senior class will be going out. It'd be a good thing for them to be able to do.
Okay.
A good age group too that you don't have represented.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Any questions?
Looking forward to it.
You haven't asked me what football team I root for, thank you.
We don't want to ruin it.
I do have one question.
Yes.
It's not necessarily for you, it's a general question for council. When we started looking at the restoration of the park and everything, there were numerous projects, numerous phases that were put into it. And at that time, we said, well, we generally agree with the restoration program, but we wanted the right to approve each and every project. This sounds to me like something that I would kind of like to see the plan come in August or September, whenever you have it, and that we would approve it at that time. But then you're also talking about the tennis courts and pickleball courts and all that sort of stuff. I don't know that we have approved that, and we may want to do that tonight if that's going to be starting soon. Unless you know, you're thinking you're coming back for another plan.
Well, actually, this one might come in before, because our, 2019 is our sports court, so that goes the whole year. I mean,
I'm saying we haven't approved the sports court.
oh, you're saying we haven't approved sports courts?
I don't think we have.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe we
I don't
did.
know the sports court, but I know we did the other,
We did the sidewalks around the.
We did Mirror Lake.
Yeah, and Mirror Lake and those sorts of things. We haven't approved, I don't recall approving
we approved the concept when she came in several months ago to talk about,
You may not.
the landscaping. We didn't approve what it could look like, just the concept that.
Oh, yeah, I know we did that, but I'm talking about the actual, I think we ought to see it, the final plan. And I think the park board's gonna want to approve the final plan too.
What?
We don't have the final plan.
We don't have the final plans, we're still in the fundraising stage. All we have is a drawing of the 6 courts. And at our next meeting, we're gonna talk about the budget and where we're gonna be on it. It depends on what amount of money we raise.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Ron?
The way we do that through park board, they will come to us and we approve, like council, the plan. And then the second part of that is once the funding's in place, the final plan comes through and is approved to go ahead.
Okay, and
And they're not done with the fundraising yet. So with the sports courts, until that's completed, that's when the final approval will be.
The original
Right.
plan a couple of years ago had the sports courts in it in theory.
Right.
That
Right.
we approved the concept.
Right, well, yeah, that was the whole point. Yes, and I think they ought to come to us then after they go to the park board.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the other difference is the sports courts are coming from public funding, from our raising money. I am donating the money for the landscaping of Firestone Park, personally. Okay. That was my goal.
Yes.
And remember too, as far as the city's involved, you know, we're talking about the plants in the park, but the walkway is an ODOT project.
Right.
And that's been final approval, that money will become available June 1st. And so, not only we have these other projects going, but then we're gonna have ODOT's presence in the park, starting in the summer.
Yeah,
that's possible by
yes.
the partial grant. We leveraged, R&B's grant funds to do that.
Although we did pay for part of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We did get that big grant from ODOT.
Oh, yeah.
They're still putting money in it, and it was an original R&B plan.
Yeah, no, and the money we got from ODOT was because of the matching funds
Yeah.
for R&B.
Right.
Is there anything you want to approve tonight, Billy?
No, I think there's a plan in place that once it's approved by park board, they'll come back to us and unless we have some major problem with it, which I can't believe we will, we would approve it too.
Is there anything you need to, or want to add? Okay. The city thanks you all for your work and for coming in. We look forward to seeing what you do. I think it's exciting. We'll move into the manager's report.
Brian, I needed a minute. Is this the time that I can get a few minutes, or do I wait till comments in item 10?
Rate, between 12 and 13, after we vote, then I will ask
Okay.
anyone from the public.
Okay.
Okay, we prepared a pre-application grant for another stormwater project in March, and we received notification that we made it through the first round, so we're gonna be, submitting a full application, so that's some really exciting news for us all. And it's, the largest stormwater project, of the top 10, other than the West Salem project, so, big project.
Yeah.
We also made it through the first round for the, Duquesne sidewalk project, and, we got John here, but we'll talk about that at the end of the manager's report a little bit. As far as the DORAs, we sent the application in, and, we finally, did receive a letter of, the DORA approval.
Doesn't bother me.
I did it through the first time.
From the Department of Commerce.
I passed.
So what they're gonna do is,
We always do.
they sent out applications to all the permit holders in that, so we should be ready for, a DORA event. I'm looking at, sending in for the, I've not done that yet. We were working on the CRA confirmation, and, that's been approved, and we have 2 applications. We're gonna take one to the school probably next week. And that's, one of the developers. And we have further details in the packet about that. We continue to work with, Columbiana Boiler on their project, and we hope to go to school for that approval too, soon. We hauled, over 1 million gallons of liquid from the lime lagoons back at the water plant. Very successful project. It's the most impact we've had. But if you recall, we haven't been able to haul in the last 2 to 3 years because we've had construction out there. So we definitely needed it, and we put a really good impact on it. Mirror Lake, we did finish up that, ended up taking the 3 foot out, making, the entire thing 3 foot deeper, and then at the center, over by the dam, we took another 3 feet out, making it 6 foot deeper in that area. We did soil tests to make sure that it was gonna hold water.
Looked like it was holding water.
Oh, it's holding water. Yeah, one more, good rain, and I think we'll be completely safe. Street department, we filled the potholes with, hot mix, to continue with the ADA replacement. The water department, the American Water, AWWA, it's American Water Association, they're gonna hold their, quarterly meeting at the plant, in May, so that's gonna be a nice opportunity to show off the new plant. Wastewater department, we still continue to, have some issues out at Creek Road, but we've got a couple people working on it in order to move towards. Park and Cemetery, they installed, some fish habitat at Mirror Lake. They also, helped repair the drainage piping for the Mirror Lake here this week. Electric department, they actually started moving in their new building this week. All their trucks are back in service, and then we did receive the bigger truck that we ordered last year. We did receive that, and we'll put that into service soon. The chief pointed out that today, or this week, it's actually the 14th through the 20th is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Basically, tipping our hats, acknowledging all those dispatchers out there that help all of our emergency people get out there to the site. So, thanks, Chief, for bringing that up. And then the last thing that I had was the ODOT sidewalk transportation alternative program, grant program. So we had applied to put a sidewalk from Fairfield Avenue into the school. We actually have a couple letters of recommendation from the school, as well as some local politicians. But we actually made it through the cut this year, and we have to put a full application in, and we're working on that now. But we thought we would, bring John from House and Baird in, who has done the preliminary engineering, and just kind of talk to you about it. It would be on Duquesne between Fairfield Avenue and the school. It would be on the north side of, Duquesne. You follow over the tracks and then up, all the way up to the school. So it'll really connect that, sidewalk that we just put in last year. It really makes sense to do. Because you can now walk from basically Bittersweet to the high school on sidewalks.
Give me another route to go.
Yeah. John, did you have anything to add on that as far as the, sidewalk project, timeframes, costs, or anything?
Timeframes, the approvals, the full application is due May 17th, so we have roughly a month to finish up the application and get it in. It's very similar, we submitted for this one last year, basically the same, project as last year. The one reason that ODOT gave us last year that they didn't approve this is they thought the railroad involvement would slow it down, and they didn't realize that the YNS Railroad is not Norfolk Southern, it's YNS, and it's 3 trains a week, and very, slow speed and things, but, when they got to Columbus, they didn't realize that, so this year we do have a letter of support from the railroad, so we were hoping that that will hold us up on the application this year, but as Lance said, it will connect our Fairfield one that we just completed in 2018. It'll connect the Fairfield corridor to Pittsburgh Street, and also the Pittsburgh Street sidewalk was done with ODOT money. It was the predecessor program to this, but same program we used, and I believe that one was in 2001. So it'll actually connect 2 other ODOT projects together at the school. So it's really nice to be able to provide that connection. And we've observed last year and same thing this year, a lot of support from the school, a lot of support from track coach, soccer coach, and the school. Staff at the city here has physically taken pictures and observed children actually walking on the pavement on Duquesne Street. There's no sidewalk to walk on, and back and forth to school. So we view it as a safety problem as well, that we can get corrected. And the only thing I will add is, if anyone knows a parent, teacher, and letters of support are always good. Any letter of support we can put in the packet for ODOT, it's good. Lance has done an excellent job of getting some of our legislators in the area, and we've done an excellent job of getting school support. But if there's a parent that has a child that has to walk that path, or someone is in sports and the buses are run and they have to walk home or something, it would be good to have letters of support. So if anyone knows a parent, we basically have about a month yet. So if anyone would like to write a letter of support, just get in touch with Lance, and he has the addresses and things that it needs to be addressed to. Certainly, if there's any questions, I can answer as well.
Do you have a time frame for when they're looking to award this year?
The awards wouldn't come out until August. The May is the submittal, and then they review it, and then we would know in August. And then basically we have 2 years to complete the project. Next year would be the design year, and then the following year would be the construction year.
So right after the award, you can start, or you got to wait for funding?
They do put the funding in place. Engineering can start shortly after the award. The city is responsible for the design engineering and for any environmental studies that are needed. And then the remainder, the construction cost and the construction engineering is funded at 95% by ODOT, which is a really good program. They have that until fiscal year 2023. They're using ODOT ODOT is using turnpike toll money. This program used to be 80-20%, well, they're bringing in that toll money from the turnpike until 2023, so now it's 5%, 95% funded, which is excellent funding. Any other questions?
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. You'll receive the bill list for April 16th. Any questions or comments on it? There is no old business. Through length of the ordinances, can I have a motion to read them by title only for new business? And to read as an emergency?
Second.
Roll call?
Bobby?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve the request from Rebecca Barker, Assistant Board Director of CYBL, to hold a tag day on May 11th in the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Have a roll call?
McBain?
Yes.
Liston?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Resolution number 19-R-535, emergency. An emergency resolution authorizing the city manager of the city of Columbiana, hereinafter referred to as the local public agency, to prepare and execute an application for Transportation Alternatives Program funds for the Duquesne Street Sidewalk Project in the city of Columbiana.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? A roll call?
Liston?
Yes.
Noel?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
Becker?
Yes.
McBain?
Yes.
Anyone from the public wishing to address council this evening? Just come up, state your name for the record.
Hi, most of you know me. I'm Cindy Great. I grew up here in the '60s. I'm not going to say, I wish Pat wouldn't have left, because I noticed on her presentation, she didn't mention anybody on her team, and you know what I'm going to say, advocating for the physically challenged in this project. So I'm sorry she left, and I hope somebody, it's not going to be me, because I'm leaving. Hold your applause. I'm not leaving Columbiana for the reasons that some might think. I'm not leaving because my apartment at Columbiana Manor has been burglarized repeatedly, and all my stuff that I fit in my car and brought here when I came here is now gone. My safe emptied. I'm not leaving because of that. I'm not leaving because I feel like I've been under surveillance and my phone's been tapped, and I'm pretty sure. I'm not leaving because of that. I am a troublemaker. Everybody knows I'm a troublemaker. But I came here, and what I've been trying to do since I've been here is advocate for our junior people, our kids, our seniors, our physically challenged people, and the history of this town. I advocate for the history of this town, and I advocate for full disclosure for what is going on in this town that affects the citizens of this town. So I've ruffled some feathers, not to the point where I feel as though what's been going on with me being here should be going on, but I'm leaving because I don't like the winter. 45 years in Florida. I don't know how I grew up here. I don't, from 62 to 73, when I moved to Florida and was down there for 45 years, I came back and I thought, well, I grew up in it, but I don't like it. So I'm leaving because I don't like the weather, I don't like the winter, and because I don't have to stay here. I can go someplace where I don't have to put up with the weather. But what I came here this evening to just take a minute and get out to the public, I hope, is that I want the people of this town, my home, to start taking careful attention to what is going on in this town. There's stuff that's happening that people need to be aware. I just found out yesterday that somebody came and opened a business here, the Rails Billiard place, and he was under indictment for a year. It was all over the news. So somebody rented him space, rented him the building, didn't do a background check. Okay? How did he get through that process and open a business where our kids and our citizens are in there? And this guy is a criminal. He's under indictment. It was well known. I came back from Pennsylvania Friday night for the Ponderosa, and I came across the railroad tracks on Park, and I was astonished to see there is this big, huge beer joint that went in over there. And they're filled to the max with kids sitting on kegs, empty kegs. And I'm thinking, when did this open? Why are all of our kids, I mean, when I advocate for our young people in town to have a place to get together and socialize, it was not my intent that they should get together and socialize, get wasted, and drinking booze. That's not Columbiana. That's not my Columbiana. And then I come up, and I go around the square to go to the post office, and I see kids on the sidewalk in front of the wine joint and the beer joint on Main Street, drinking out on the sidewalk, just having a good time drinking. I'm sorry, people, but that's not the Columbiana that I grew up in. We had lots to do when I grew up here. We had Kelly Park for roller skating. We had Arrowhead Lanes. We had Arrowhead Lake. We had Lakefront for miniature golf. I could go on. You all know. You all grew up here, so you know. That's not what we want our kids to be doing, and that's not what we should be encouraging and opening our town to. I'm not against it. The Legion used to be good, and VFW and Eagles, those are good, and Rotary and all that. But I just don't want this town, my town, that I love, to think that alcohol, like you got that Nora or something, where you want people to walk the streets being able to drink. I don't agree with that. Okay? I'm here just to ask the people of Columbiana to start paying attention to what's going on in this town, and think of our youth, and think of our physically challenged. When you plow the streets, you're leaving five feet of snow, so somebody who's wheelchair on a walker can't get across from one side of Main Street to the other. I want you to start concentrating and thinking. You all knew my son Adam, so when you run this town, I'm asking you just to think about Adam and say, well, would Adam be able to get around? When you look at things, when you plow the streets, when you plow leaves, when you're sitting at a football game, I don't care what it is, when you're putting Pavilion 3, you're putting disabled parking spot at Pavilion 3, that is stupid. I'm sorry. There's no bathroom there for somebody who's wheelchair bound on a walker, unless they're going to walk all the way down that hill into the park office. They can't get into the park office because not one but two huge heavy doors. They can't get in there to go to the bathroom. I'm just asking you, I'm not going to go on. I'm just asking you to please start thinking about what the future of this town, our town, where it's going, and start. We need a community center. I was hoping the bowling alley would make a great community center, but I'd like you to start thinking about that. Okay? So this will be the last time I come before you all, and I just hope you'll remember and think about some of the things I've said.
Thank you. Anyone else? Council comments?
Well,
almost feel like it sounds redundant, but, we had another great showing at the theater the last 2 weeks, Spitfire Grill. And, I cannot stress enough that I think it is a tremendous thing for us to have that theater in this town and see all the local people with such great talent that have an opportunity to perform. And, I want to thank anybody who's responsible for that and everybody that's responsible for the theater, because it's a great asset, and I know they got a bunch of other stuff coming up. Many of the projects are so worthwhile, and I want to recognize them.
That was an amazing program.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was fantastic.
Just building on that a little bit, probably everybody knows I've been involved in the theater.
Yeah, you weren't in this one.
Besides people who are local that are in a lot of the plays, they also now draw people from as far away as Newcastle and, you know, this region to come and participate. That causes their friends and family to also come to Columbiana and see what's going on in Columbiana. I think it's been a tremendous asset in that sense, because people who normally would just think of us as a little rural town are coming here and finding that there are many, many other things that are worthwhile to look at and visit. And I think that they draw a lot of people to town that would not otherwise come here.
Totally.
Once again, we've been trying to figure out ways to bring outsiders in so they can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another way to do it. And it's a way that you just wouldn't normally think about. Yes,
I don't think I can let go what was just said about the city, not taking care of, city property with handicap access. The entire park plans that are underway right now, are all put in, not only ADA compliance, but partially the reason for some of the upgrades and the sidewalks that are being put in so that it's safer to get around. The pavilion that was stated that was stupid didn't have access before at all, so now there is access. I don't know how that can be considered.
Plus they put in the handicap accessible
Ramp.
playground.
Yeah, I mean, so those pieces of it are one side. I'd also like to address what was written in the paper 2 weeks ago, about ADA, compliance and being behind on our sidewalks. We were not. We're not behind at all, but because, new upgrades are going into our streets, it is the time when you're doing those to become compliant with today's code. We're compliant with the code whenever they were put in, but because, the state's coming through and doing all of the state upgrades, it is the time to do that. So it's not a matter of doing something ahead of it to try to get caught up because we were doing something wrong. It's to be prepared, looking at the future, so that whenever that comes through, it's all done and nothing has to be retrofitted after the fact. So, I felt the need to, set the record straight a little bit on that. And I'd also like to say that for any business that wants to come into town, regardless of who you are, you can't discriminate. We can't pick and choose as a government who does business anywhere. It's legal to own a business in the United States. So unless someone is told they can't, by law, then we can't discriminate who comes here. We can pick and choose whether their zoning meets our code and if they're building to what we require, but we can't say as a city, we want this type of business and no, you're not allowed to come here, and no, you can't because of who your name is. I don't think anyone, would want that.
Especially when they haven't been convicted of a crime.
So, for whatever that's worth, I for the past year thought that it was pretty ridiculous that some of the same people in this town that talk about the government being too controlling want the government to tell people who they can and can't choose to have a business in the city. Did I particularly like it? No, but that's not our job. Our job is to say, yes, this is legal, or no, it's not. It's that simple. We don't discriminate.
I'd like to just comment a little bit about the comment related to birdfish, both the upper and the lower. I've never seen anybody, except for one time, out drinking in front of birdfish. They have signs up inside that say no alcohol beyond this point. And I've never seen them serve alcohol to anybody underage. I mean, they check people regularly, so I don't know what she saw, but that to me is not something that goes on a regular basis.
I don't think we've had any trouble calls.
No.
We have not. We do random compliance checks undercover without any prior notice. We've never had them, caught serving to the people we send in as a compliance check.
They also advertise being, kid-friendly, which a lot of people question. Because they don't allow kids just to come in and do anything, and they come in with their parents. And when they say they're kid-friendly, that means they have games and activities and things for kids to do, coloring books, whatever, to entertain the kids, so the kids can spend a couple hours with their parents doing something damn good. The pinball machines down lower and all that sort of stuff. And again, they do not serve minors at all.
Rather than say kid-friendly, they're family-friendly.
Yeah, that would be a better way of saying it.
Because they want the families to come in, and like I said, they do go all out to try to support the kids, give them something to do, and the parents then can also enjoy themselves. As far as somebody standing out in front of birdfish, I think the statement was, young people drinking in front of birdfish. They've been drinking a Coke. There's no way they were drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
It isn't gonna happen.
It's not a chance they can take with a license. We just don't see that from any establishment now.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of misinformation that gets put out. I understand that some people get very personal about things and take it to heart, but, I think we go above and beyond as a community to try to be inclusive and to, accept everyone from every type of background situation, whether it be personal, business, or otherwise. I think that's why we're growing as a community. I think it's why businesses want to locate here. And I think that it's a great place to set up shop. I think that the DORA has been completely either misunderstood or just used as maybe a fear-mongering tool for people that don't understand what it really is. I was just in Sarasota last week. They had a chalk art festival that I think there were people from Norway, Brazil, Portugal, Spain. There were artists from all over the world there to spend 3 days drawing murals on the streets. They shut the streets down, and they had, I think, a beer tent or something there where you could serve it. You couldn't without a DORA type thing. There were hundreds of thousands of people that came down there over 3 days to see what was going on. There was no trouble. There was no problems at all. And it's a tourist destination. People fly from all over the world to see that over that 3-day period. That's the kind of stuff, maybe not on that scale that we're looking to do, but that's what this is for. A small idea that I have that I saw in Texas last fall that I think would be a fantastic way to use the DORA would be to do a chili cook-off with our fire department and invite all of the fire departments from all Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana counties, have them park down Main Street and have each one charge X to get in and have the money get divided up against the different fire departments. There are ways that we can do this that make it a community type event that also bring people out, have a good time. And I can't picture things getting too out of hand at a chili cook-off on the middle of the street to support fire department. That's what the DORA is about.
Going back to the park, it's hard for me to fathom that somebody can criticize what we're doing in the park right now. And to actually say that we're not thinking about our kids and young people in this community. I'm glad Pat wasn't here. But, to hitchhike on your comments about ADA. Understand that as we do things in the park, we're mandated by law to upgrade to ADA. Now, you take a football field that was built back in 1934, it's hard to do that. But think of all the other facilities. When we put the new visitor stands in, they are now ADA compliant. And all of the work on the pavilions, even handicapped playgrounds, I mean, we do update as we go along. I hate seeing negative comments out against R&B and Pat and her group. I mean, what they've been able to do is staggering. And as we get working on the ODOT project this summer, I mean, we have a host of other things that we're working on. As far as I'm concerned, that park was a gem to start out with, but it's going to be phenomenal. And so.
Yeah, Mirror Lake project is ADA compliant. There's actually 3 places that you're going to be able to actually sit, and somebody in a wheelchair is going to be able to fish now.
They couldn't before.
They couldn't before. It's specially created for that. They're going to cast right into the deep end, and we put it overlooking that. So.
Good. Yeah, I think it's just someone doesn't understand what all's going on in town. Any other comments? Motion to adjourn.